Good evening. Tonight I would like to talk about how God values the military. When you first think about it, it's kind of hard to see that God would value the military. We have to break several commandments that He doesn't want us to do. So how could God value such harsh things? I'm going to cover those this evening. Many of our Old Testament heroes were military. Joshua was one of the greatest military leaders, and he was great because he followed what God told him to do. Many people, including myself at one time, fear that the military is not a good career choice for a Christian. However, there are many great things about the military that God values. I have been in the military now for a little over 10 years, and in the beginning it was kind of hard to get over the fact that I'm going to have to kill somebody if I'm in war, or that the many different things that I do may not be something that God approves. But through many friends and through lots and lots of research, I have found that God does value the military, and God values me, which is, to me, very, very important. Tonight I'm going to talk about three main points. One is the false accusations that the military gets about being a Christian in the military. The second is I'm going to cover the many jobs that you can have by being a Christian in the military, that being a Christian is important to that job. And finally, I'm going to tell you information on how even just your task, the job that you do as a regular worker, is important to God in the military. First, many accusations have been made against the military and being a Christian. One of the most recent ones is Mikey Weinstein's, who was the president of the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, who is the president of the Military Freedom Foundation, who stated, "Until the Air Force or Army or Navy or Marine Corps punishes a member of the military for unconstitutional religious proselytizing and oppression, we will never have the ability to stop this horrible, horrendous, dehumanizing behavior." Basically what he's saying is, until the Christians stop forcing God upon people who do not want to believe, there will never be religious freedom in the military. You can say that statement can be correct because every service, every company that you work for has the select few that don't do the right thing, even as a Christian. For the military, sometimes military leaders end up not giving equal opportunity because they found out a certain soldier is not a believer in Christ, or even believes in the same thing that they believe in. The second false accusation I'd like to cover is that Christians will be court-martialed for sharing their faith. Yes, the Pentagon has taken some advice from Mikey Weinstein, but it doesn't mean that they're going to court-martial Christians. Everybody still has the right to their religion. It's in the Constitution. It's been that way since the beginning, and it'll stay that way. Second, there are two jobs in the military that, whether you are a Christian, no matter what your faith is, that you can have being in the military. The number one is a military chaplain. Whether you're a Christian, Muslim, there is a military chaplain or somebody in the military that you can go to get help and that believes in the same faith you believe in. Second is the chaplain assistant. The chaplain assistant is there to help guide. He's your enlisted one. He's not an officer. He's actually allowed to carry a weapon, where a chaplain, if you became a chaplain, you wouldn't even have to worry about whether or not you're going to have to kill somebody, because you're not allowed to carry a weapon. Chaplain assistant, according to Army Regulation AR 165-1, chaplain assistant, as a member of the U.S. Army Chaplain Corps, is a soldier that provides expertise in religious support and religious support operations. Chaplain assistants support the religious missions of commander in responding to the needs of soldiers, family members, and other authorized personnel. So those are two of the jobs that you can get. There's many others, but tonight I'm just going to focus on those two. Finally, a Christian soldier is a great asset, no matter what their job or skill. I was told when I was looking to becoming a chaplain that I was in the best position as a Christian to be in. Because chaplains, if you want to meet with one, you're going to end up having to make an appointment. If you have a problem, you can come to me and say that you have this problem. I will hold that to myself as long as it's not something that needs to be addressed, and I will happily be able to give you some advice. If you don't know God, I will be happy to introduce Him to you without doing the wrong thing of trying to push God upon you. The Bible tells me I need to push God upon you, but God will take care of that. As far as me as in the Army, I cannot do that, but God understands that as well. When taking on the task of spiritual guidance, it's important to remember that there are other soldiers with different faiths or beliefs, and it is imperative that a biased opinion not be made when this difference is discovered. Just because you don't believe the same thing I believe does not mean I'm going to treat you any different than I did 2 minutes ago when I found out that you don't believe the same thing I do. Although religious beliefs can sometimes take effect when it comes to a career opportunity, the military is not one of those careers. There are great opportunities for Christians in the military with jobs that focuses on your faith and your belief. Just doing what you love and doing it to share God's gospel, He will value that. Matthew West has a song called Stand, which he talks about a young high school student going to school and going to pray in front of the American flag. He then talks about how the kids around her started laughing and pointing, saying nobody else is going to join her. All of a sudden, many, many, many people came through and joined her praying for that flag, and they said that they would stand up for what they believe in. In the military, Christians need to stand up for what they believe in.